All these things, all these altars have owners. And every altar has a priest. And the priest of the altar guards it jealously. Even the altar that God has raised is guarded. And the example is the altar that was raised by God, the temple that had the holy place, the meeting place, the Holy of Holies. The inside was guarded by cherubs and seraphs. And it was a no-go zone, guarded jealously. God is saying, beside me, and I have an altar. God's altar is guarded by those who know him, who have qualified themselves to become priests. Just as there are altars, many altars according to assignments, those altars control cities, towns, villages, and families. And so, what is the work of demonic altars? For example, why do you think it's so difficult to preach in Saudi Arabia? It's because there is an altar there called the Kaaba stone. And there is a very, very heavy spirit around that altar. And it speaks to the entire world, that altar. Kaaba stone, there is a day that they all pick stones from that altar, around that altar, and they say they are throwing stones at the devil. And the devil is you and me. And there is a lot of animosity, of hate that is spoken by that altar. Why do you think it's so difficult to the northern of Kenya and the coast raised? They do not know you, but try and go and set up a church in Madeira or Elwak. You won't even know what hate you. You wake up in heaven. You be hate very strongly. Na hutaamkia hapo, utaamkia mbinguni. Why are they guarding that altar? So to penetrate this darkness, oppose the word of God, oppose his messengers. Those are the instructions of those. In the year 2014, I led the leadership of the Kenya Assemblies of God to the north. Having established a church there for 10 years, I felt now is the right time to introduce the leadership to the churches that I have opened in the north. I had opened 16 by then. And we rode in the tour Land Cruisers, the green Land Cruisers, the long chases. We were many, 4 of them we hired. Every day, I think we were hiring at 30,000 that time. We passed here, through Isiolo, into Marsabit. We went through a lot of problems. But where I want to bring you to is when we cut across towards the east into Wajir area. We came to a town we call Harbasweni. The vehicles we were traveling in a convoy. When we entered to buy water, I was in vehicle number 3 from front. When we stopped, all of us stopped together because we were following each other. A madman came knocking at my window only, a madman from Harbaswen. And he knocked until I lowered the window pane. And he said, he asked, you have come here also. We will not allow you. Pastor Nuthu, who was seated behind me, opened his video. And he took all that language that was spoken by that man. And I asked, he said, we are not allowing you. You cannot step down. This place is secure. You cannot disturb us the way you have disturbed other towns. Here, we have sworn, we will kill you, we will destroy you and your caravan. I asked him, who are you addressing? To me, you, not any other, you in particular. We know you, you've been disturbing us for many years, but here, we have secured the place. We are against you. Many times he repeated, we are against you. I asked him, with who are you resisting me? He said, we have gathered ourselves very properly. We have a group from South Africa, a group from Congo, a group from Tanzania, Tanga, Dar es Salaam, a group from Zanzibar, a group from Mombasa, and we have pulled our strength together to oppose you. We can't allow you. And we exchanged for about 5 minutes. Who was this speaking? It was the altar that was raised at Habarsweni to resist and to defend that town to remain under darkness. For the time that we spent there, I led the team to raise an altar, and many people came to the Lord, about 40 people, and since I didn't have anybody to live there, I left them under the vicarage or the pastor whom I raised then, who was a district commissioner. His name was, No, not Kibe, not Kibe. His name was Maguta, DC Maguta. It was DC Maguta. And the church is still on. The church is still on. But look at the resistance. The demons are saying, we can't allow you. When I stepped on the ground, the man ran away. And he went shouting, don't ban us. We are against you, but don't ban us. He left and disappeared into the small houses of Harbasweni. Now, in Numbers 21, verses 1 to 3. Numbers 21, verses 1 to 3. Okay. When the Canaanite king of Arad used King James, okay, when King Arad is the name of a man. When King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, had tail. What does that say? What does that mean? Had tail. People are talking in the whole village about a people that are coming in the way of the spies. Came by the way of the spies. When he fought against, then he fought against Israel and took some of them, what? Prisoners. Let's go to 2 and 3. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord, this is a covenant, and said, if you will indeed deliver these people into my hand, then I will do what? Utterly. Utterly, the root of this I will dedicate all these cities to you. 3. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place, what? Hormah. One time, we had a school in this country, in this county, called Kiangoma. Kiangoma means a place of demons. We prayed, we had a common teacher here, a class teacher. And he was doing very well by that time. Prayed for him. I prophesied upon his life. You need to be given a school and become a principal. Not long from now. Within a year and a half, he was a principal. And I told him, now that you are a godly principal, in this name, Kiangoma, school Kiangoma, a school of demons, we must change. We must dedicate this school to the Lord and raise a godly altar. I told him, apply for a change of name. We prayed over the application. And the school was changed from Kiangoma to Mukrine Boys. That's where I'm coming from. Eastgate has contributed to change of name and character. When I was doing spiritual mapping of that area, I heard the villagers say that demons used to scream and speak in the night and very early in the morning and during Adhano time. Very cold days. Demons were very much awake. Mapepo wanasikia baridi. Wakati wa Adhano watashindwa kwenda shughuli zao. Lakini wakati wa Adhano takuta wahubiri wengi washirika wengi ndio hawezi kwenda nini? Kwa altar yao. So the name changed, the performance changed, the man became a very famous principal, and that's the end of that story. Unakamata hiyo? That's the end of that story. The thing is, after Moses defeated Arad and took over the cities, he changed the name from what they were to Hormah. Hormah means dedicated to the Lord. Sawa? Dedicated to the Lord. In chapter number 20, you see Arad has refused to give them way. Let's read from verse number 14, chapter 20, from verse number 14. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Kadesh. What? Kadesh. I'll talk at length about Kadesh. Thus says thy brother Israel. This is Jacob. Edom is Esau. Israel is who? Jacob. They were twins. So your brother Jacob is saying this. You know all the problems that we have befallen us. Kuna ndugu ambaye hanjui shida za ndugu yake. Move on. How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us or punished us and our fathers. Move on. And when we cried unto the Lord, that is when we prayed to God, there is no prayer that God doesn't answer if you pray with seriousness and fervency. Sawa? Shida ni kukosa kufuatilia. You pray today, tomorrow you're not there. You pray that you're not praying.